Okay, this is going to be a quick step-by-step view of building a Team Associates Rc83.2e. I got everything pre-arranged. You see my overview of my workstation. And I'll come down here. In the first step, you find bag 1 and bag 2. Bag 1 and bag 2. Bag 2 is just the fluids for the differential build we're doing. I did bag 1 and I took went to these steps here, and it took me about 35-40 minutes just to dig all the parts out of these individual bags and identify them and sort them. So I had got some different trays. I got the bearings in here, the washers. I have the housing over here, the gears for here. Then I went ahead and got this assembly, both front and rear. You'll see the front output drive is a 17mm, rear is 15. So I went down here, 15, 15, 17, 17, identified the O-rings, the shims, the pins, and the bearings, just like here in the picture. Then come down here is assemblies for the gears inside there, and the shims, the pins, and the gears. And then the assembly of the gears in here come into here. So I have everything laid out. I have the black grease. And somebody's going to assemble them. The next page will be really just topping the oil off the gasket form, and of course filling the oil up. Then it's the center gear. I basically have everything for the center gear in this bag. And so these first pages of build of the differential should go fairly fast. Then I got all the parts labeled out. I just have to assemble them. Then I'll be coming right down to shock build time. And I'll take another quick clip when they're all together in different stages, put them together, and add on this video. Okay, I'm back. I got the differentials, front, rear, and center all put together like the instructions here. Only thing I did not do was add fluid yet. The fluid they give you is a different weight they give you. I know from a local track, they recommend 3 rear, 7 center, and 7 front. So that's what I'm gonna put in. And a couple little things will help you through the way. The black grease, they give you a little flip cap you have to put in your hands, and they don't give you a whole lot. I just ordered some black grease, a tube of it, so I have it on hand, because you gotta use it everywhere. O-rings, the gaskets. You can see I got the gaskets with it. And another thing that helps is a pair of tweezers to put these small pins in place in here, and a small flat blade screwdriver to push the pins in. And I always have a set of calipers that I use just to measure everything, because sometimes it's hard to find the stuff. So basically I got my shock stand, and I'm gonna put some oil in them. and I'll be back. I hope you can see this, because I'm going to start adding 3K to the rear. I'm going to give it time to settle. And I'll come back and check it. I'll give it a quick, if I can do it quick, I can't really do a quick turn and hold the camera. It's sitting level. And as you can see, that's the level they recommend, just barely above it. Okay. I got the fluids topped off. Front, center, rear. And go ahead and assemble them. You gotta make sure you put the right halves together. That's a 15. And that's a 15. The gaskets are in there. And I have the DeWalt gyro, which definitely helps. Take some fatigue out after putting anything together. You can see I got the torque setting turned down. Since we're just going into a plastic housing, I don't want it to be real high. Let's keep going up a little bit as we need. Then I'll just go with hand. There we go. It's nice and firm. 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 Actually, so this is actually the rear. This is a 15. Nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the center together in the rear and give you a picture of that. Okay, I got all the differentials built up rear, front, 17 to 17, (15 to 15), and 17 to 17 center. Then I'll put those aside because I won't be using them for a little while. I'll put them back in the box. And also, you have to remember, keep a note, should I say, they give you parts that you won't use later. These are the shims that'll go on here that'll be used way later when you start putting them in the housings. So I marked it diff shims, and put them back in the original 2.1 bag. And I'll put them back in the box with those so I know where to find them. Since we finished that up, now it says I need bag 2.1, which I already did ahead of time. You don't want me to see digging through bags. That's 2.1. And this is going to be the front and rear shock builds. And they have the fluid in here. Listen, there's a little bit of grease in the tube they want to use throughout the whole build. It's not enough. You have to stick your finger in there. It's messy. So just go get you a tube of black grease. But the oils, for the shock oils, I won't be changing them. I'll be using the stock oils. And by the time I dig out the parts, it'll go fairly fast to do it. And it's important to get the air out for how I'm building them. So I'll get them built up, but then when it comes to adding oil, I'll put them in the stand, add the oil to them, and just give them time for all the air to go out. Okay, I'm back. It took me a little while to get all the parts organized for the shock build. You can see here, like I said, bag 2.1. There's a bunch of tiny pieces. Went ahead and organized everything. Basically, I went at the shock build stuff first. That's basically going this section right here. I got the shock bodies, shock body steel retainer, the O-rings, the motion tube caps, the bladder caps, I guess, caps. I call it the hat. And here's some very tiny stuff. I'm going for this part right here for the shaft build. I'm actually, you get selections since those are your ports. I'm actually going for 2.1 front and rear. They come in different sizes. It's for tuning the shocks, the orifice plates. But I'm going for 1.2 front and rear. These are very tiny. Took me a little while. I dropped one out of the bag. You can see the flathead screwdriver is bigger than the seals. That's the bleed screw for that port. Then digging out these spacers, washers, and of course you always have to get these parts for later use and be able to retain them because you're not going to use them all. I can actually show you. Those are different size orifice plates. I just took what I needed, but springs, spacers for the shock bodies, and these will be used later. When you start putting things together, you just have to make note where to find them. And you're still not putting the shocks together. There's the shock pins and those little tiny nail holders, screws, will be used several pages later. You gotta make note and make sure you don't lose them. So the next thing would be assemble all four of those. Then do this, assemble the body and seals. Then install, once everything is assembled, install them and bladders. Put on the shaft protectors. Then add the oil. I'll be back later once I get assembled and show you how they look and any problems I may have.